What's up, guys? Brooks here. I just got back from New Mexico. I was down there hunting mule deer on Unit 28, which is McGregor Range, just north of El Paso. So to start things off, I drove down. It was a 21-hour drive. Me and one friend, coworker, ended up going down, just me and him. We stayed in Tiburon. We rented an Airbnb there. Really liked the Airbnb. It was a nice place. Kind of had that deer camp feel. It was a trailer house up in the mountains. Pretty cool area. Had deer right in our backyard. I probably wouldn't stay there again, just not due to the place, just due to where I was hunting. If I was hunting in Unit 34, I for sure would. But down on McGregor, you had to drive all the way out and around to get back into the range. It was only like 22, 25 miles, something like that. But the roads were so rough that you're doing like 5 to 10 miles an hour. And for a good chunk of it anyways. Some spots you could do like 20 to 25, maybe 30. But yeah, it was a little over an hour drive, and that just got really old every day, driving that down and coming back. So if I could do it over again, I'd say we probably would just camp down in the bottom on the range. You can they have certain areas where you can camp, and there's several groups out there that were camping. I think that'd be the nice part, would be you don't have to put so many miles on the crappy roads on your pickup, and you also don't have to worry about the check-in, check-out, which that is I think it was a new, I don't know, this year or last year, but iSportsman app. So you get all registered on this website, iSportsman, and then and you and whoever's going with you, and then you basically just get a background check done to make sure you can go on the range. And then, like every morning, we get up at Tiburon, have to go on iSportsman, check in, then you'd have to dial in the range control, call them up and let them know that you're going on the range, you're going to be in this and this unit of the range, just so they have accountability for where everybody is at. So that was definitely something different. I've obviously never dealt with anything like that. It was kind of a pain, but it really wasn't too bad. But again, if you camped on the range, that you don't have to do any of that. You just sign in that you're camping when you get there, and you don't sign out until you leave, which would have been really awesome. Let's see. So yeah, we ended up going down 2 days early. We scouted for 2 full days, and then the season is only a 2-day hunt, which sucks because it's a 1.3 million acre range, and only having 2 days to go find a buck in an area that there's deer out there. Obviously, I shot a deer as a little bugger, but there wasn't that many deer out there to the point where a 2-day hunt. It was tough. So I think if it was more than 2 days, I definitely wouldn't have shot the little one I ended up shooting. I probably would have held out for at least a decent framed out buck. On the range, it has to be a forked antlered deer, so you can shoot whitetail or mule deer. I would be shocked if there's any whitetail there, but yeah, so it has to have a fork, which mine did. And I'd never shot a mule deer before, so I was happy to come home with anything. But we did see a few decent bucks. We saw two pretty good ones. I'll throw the pictures on here. But yeah, we scouted sun up to sundown the 2 full days we were there, and we drove around the first day pretty much the majority of the day, just getting familiar with the roads that we could drive. There are some pretty rough roads. Like for the most part, most of the roads are a pickup can make it just fine. Like coming out of Tiburon, there was one road on Onyx, I think it was called Pine Road, and when we saw that on Onyx, we're like, oh sweet, we should try that so we don't have to drive all the way around. We ended up having to thankfully found a spot to turn around at the very end, almost to Tiburon, but it was about a half a mile from it. It turned into pretty much a rock wall, and it's like there's no way my pickup can climb this road. So a lot of the things that are labeled as roads on Onyx, they're questionable at best. So I would definitely make sure you have good tires. I was told from someone that had been down there before to bring 2 spare tires, so we did do that. We didn't get a flat, but we were about halfway home. I had a low tire pressure light came on, and I had a slow leak with a little chunk of metal that we picked up on the range. There's barbed wire everywhere, laying all over the road. So I would definitely make sure you have some good tires and have a couple of spares, just in case you pop a couple flats, because most of the range you don't get service. On the west side, like the westerly side, there you do get service, but most of the stuff where you're going to be hunting, there's no service or very, very spotty at best. For where we hunted, we mainly, there's a road on the north end of it. I think it's Highway 504. It's not a highway, so don't believe that. It's a gravel road that you're probably doing 30. Some parts probably you could get 40 miles an hour out on, but it's not a great road. That was kind of the theme with the range out there. There was no good roads. So we mainly stuck on the north side of that highway. We did meet a couple guys that told us to go look down further south, which was their secret hunting hole spot. We ended up driving down there, and there was people all over down there as well. Granted, orc season was open when we were down there, so it wasn't just mule deer hunters, it was also orc hunters as well. But yeah, it was a frustrating hunt, but it was a fun hunt. It was frustrating just because I was going to New Mexico, I was expecting it to be a little bit different for the amount of deer that we were seeing, and the quality of the deer that we were seeing. But at the end of the day, it's hunting. There are big ones out there, I'm certain of that. It's just a matter of getting lucky and having one. Being in the right place at the right time, just like anywhere. So the other thing with out there, it's kind of a deserty feel to it. So it's like, let's try to find the water. Where's the water at? There's cattle troughs all over out there, along the roads. So I think that's part of the reason why the majority of the people we saw were road hunting, was just they assumed that deer are going to be close to water. Water's by the road. It's covered ground. We didn't do that originally during the season, like the actual open season. We just did some hiking. Didn't pay off. We didn't see anything. Then we just got up on a nice knob and glassed for quite a while. Saw some does and some orcs and Barbary sheep, but didn't see any bucks. And then we ended up cruising around in the pickup that last evening and saw one little spike and the little fork I ended up shooting. But I think that's probably the most effective way out there, but I don't know. That's just not my style of hunting. I don't know. But it definitely seemed like that's what most people were doing out there, was just cruising around and see if they can get lucky and spot one. But let's see, what else was there? Yeah, there wasn't that many deer. It was a very low density for population. I think the most deer we saw one day, we saw probably 25, give or take, and that was probably 3 or 4 different groups. So mostly saw does. It was supposed to be their peak rut, and we were seeing groups of 6, 7 does without a buck. I was like, there must not be that many deer out here if you have 6 does running around during their peak rut. But I don't know. Definitely could have been. We were just not in the right place looking. Like I said, I'm sure there's giants out there, but I personally wouldn't apply for that tag again. It's just being how far of a drive it was, 21-hour drive. Yeah, I don't think I'll apply for that tag again. If I lived closer, I'd probably do it. I mean, it was definitely a challenging hunt, but yeah, all in all, I had a great time. If you end up applying for Unit 28 and drawing it, I wish you the best of luck. Take it from me, don't stay in Tiburon. Camp down there. If you're not going to camp, I'd stay in Alamogordo. At least then you just got highway drive. It's further distance-wise, but it ends up being about the same time-wise. So, good luck.